So just a short video on something that is not a comfortable topic, but has to be spoken, especially to the new generation whose parents seem to have misled them for whatever reason. A young friend of mine who's in his mid-20s recently, I guess I broke the news to him that he is actually a carrier of herpes. He had no idea. He had a cold sore on his lip, and I said, "Oh, looks like you got herpes there." And he said, "No, it's a fever blister." And I said, "A fever blister is a herpes." And he said, "No, what are you talking about?" And I said, "That's just a fancy way of saying herpes, okay, so that people aren't uncomfortable. Same with cold sore. A cold sore is a herpes. Did you know that if you have a cold sore on your mouth and you proceed to give oral sex to somebody, that you can give them herpes simplex A on their genitals, which usually has herpes simplex B? The genital one, I mean. So that doesn't change anything. It's still herpes. It's a virus. It's an infection you will have for life. When you have an outbreak, you are contagious and you should not engage in anything sexual with somebody who does not have herpes at all. Or even somebody who has herpes, you probably shouldn't, because they might not have had an outbreak for a very long time. So yes, if you have ever had a cold sore, that is called a herpes. That is herpes simplex A. Although, if you had somebody that you were giving oral sex to, let's say down below, and they had a herpes infection down there, a cold sore on their genital area, and you put your mouth down there, then you could have contracted herpes simplex B, which is usually the one that's on the genital area, on your mouth. So just because you have a cold sore here and that's herpes simplex A doesn't necessarily mean that it's herpes simplex A. It could mean that you have herpes simplex B on your mouth. The point is that when you're having any type of sex, you need to use protection. If you don't know the person yet, even kissing, to be honest with you, women are wearing so much makeup these days that you just don't know what a person might have around their mouth. And if they've recently had an outbreak and they're covering it with lots of makeup, then you are at risk of getting herpes or cold sores, fever blisters on your mouth. So again, that is the same thing as carrying AIDS. It's a virus. I was shocked during a recent trip to Calgary how many clients called me asking for an escort service called BBBJ, which stands for bareback blowjob. In other words, providing him oral sex without a condom. If you are a sex worker and you are in the escort industry of the business, please do not provide this service to clients, as you can contract herpes if they have an open sore or even if they don't have a sore down below. So apparently this has become the standard service in Calgary, let alone more than likely across Canada. But again, this is an incurable infection that you will have for the rest of your life, and you can contract genital herpes on your mouth from giving bareback blowjobs.